What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast. We want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman. I got a loaded show for you guys today, but before I get into that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and share this show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. All right, everyone. Got this crazy story from Timcast. Trump says he will be arrested on Tuesday, calls for protests, and urges people to take our nation back. Oh, you know where that's going to go. The Post received mixed feedback from commentators on the right, as many noted that he did not pardon the January 6th protesters before he left office. In his post, which was written in all capital letters, Trump wrote, Page 2, now illegal leaks from a corrupt, highly political Manhattan district attorney's office, which has allowed new records to be set in violent crime and whose leader is funded by George Soros, indicate that with no crime being able to be proven, and based on an old and fully debunked by numerous other prosecutors fairy tale, the far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Protest, take our nation back. All right. Trump's possible indictment stems from an alleged $130,000 hush money payment made to a adult film star, Stormy Daniels, in 2016 over an alleged sexual encounter that the two had in 2006. This former attorney, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty to charges over the payment in 2018 and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. They're killing our nation as we sit back and watch. We must save America. Protest, 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 Trump wrote in a follow-up message. You can read that message here. If Trump is charged, he will be the first former president in U.S. history to ever be arrested after leaving office. He is also the current leading contender for the Republican presidential nomination in 2024. There has been no notification other than illegal leaks from the Justice Department and the DA's office to NBC and other fake news carriers that George Soros-funded radical left Democrat prosecutor in Manhattan has decided to take his witch hunt to the next level. President Trump is rightfully highlighting his innocence and the weaponization of our injustice system, a Trump spokesperson told the New York Post on Saturday. Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, has called for a congressional investigation into a politically motivated prosecution. His message here on Twitter was, "Here we go again, an outrageous abuse of power by a radical DA who lets violent criminals walk as he pursues political vengeance against President Trump. I'm directing relevant committees to immediately investigate if federal funds are being used to subvert our democracy." We're a constitutional republic, Kevin McCarthy, but that's okay. It's neither here nor there. So I want to go ahead and run through with you guys exactly what Trump is being charged with here, okay? So we got this story here from the New York Times, a left-wing source, so for all you lefties out there. So essentially so they've got a misdemeanor charge on him, okay, and they're going to try to upgrade that misdemeanor charge to a felony by proving that he intended, to commit or cover up a second crime, okay? And I'll read that here. In New York, falsifying business records can amount to a crime, albeit a misdemeanor, okay? So there's the misdemeanor. To elevate the crime to a felony charge, Mr. Bragg's prosecutors must show that Mr. Trump's intent to defraud included an intent to commit or conceal a second crime. So what you have to understand here is that proving intent in the court of law is already difficult as it is, okay? Because you have to prove that somebody was knowingly doing something wrong, or knowingly defrauding, or they had the intent. You have to prove the intent, which is very difficult to do. They are going to have to do it twice, because not only do you have to prove his intent to defraud for the misdemeanor charge, but you also have to include an intent to commit or conceal a second crime. So you got to prove intent twice in the same court of law. In this case, that second crime could be a violation of New York state election law, while hush money is not inherently illegal. You heard it here first, guys. You heard it from the New York Times right there. I've been seeing all over Twitter, oh, he's going to jail because he gave Daniels hush money. No, that's not it. Right there, guys. While hush money is not inherently illegal, the prosecutors could argue that the $130,000 payment effectively became an improper donation to Mr. Trump's campaign under the theory that because the money silenced Mrs. Daniels, it benefited his candidacy. So does that mean that the FBI is going to be on trial pretty soon because they went to Twitter and Facebook and all these different social media companies, and they silenced the Hunter Biden story and censored it so that Joe Biden could win the election? Am I correct on that? Because I'm like 99.9% sure that that's what happened, especially after we saw that it was proven to be what had happened after Elon Musk released the Twitter files. So we're going to arrest a former president for this, but we won't arrest the FBI agents that did the exact same thing in the last election. Okay, that's fine. But so I find it very interesting that Speaker McCarthy is going to be sending out, or is going to be attempting to start an investigation into the prosecutor to see if any federal funds were used to push this case forward. We will have to see on that. I don't know how far that's going to go. That sounds like it's probably something that's going to take a while to figure out. And President Donald Trump is expected to be arrested on Tuesday, so which today is Monday, so tomorrow. But yeah, this is insane. This is insane. I don't see I don't see these charges standing. You might be able to get him on the misdemeanor, but that's not going to be that. But that's not going to keep him from running. And ultimately, everyone on Twitter has been shouting, "Oh, he needs to have his day in court. We need to make sure that nobody is above the law." See, they don't care about that. All these people saying that all over Twitter, they don't actually care about, getting their day in court. Oh, we need justice. They don't care about that. They don't care about that. These people hate Donald Trump, and they want to see him in prison just for the sole purpose, not because they care about justice, not because they care if he committed any crimes or not, which we have no idea. They don't care about that. They hate him and want to see him in prison just because they hate him. That's it. These people are cult members, and they are driven by hate. They don't care about justice. And I want to share with you some examples of times where similar things were done. With politicians and even former presidents, and sometimes even worse things were done by politicians and former presidents, and they didn't give a crap, showing that they don't actually care about justice. Of course, we got the good old Obama administration killing Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki in a drone strike in Yemen. This man was a 16-year-old American citizen that was murdered without charge or trial by a former president. Nobody batted an eye. Then we got the former House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi herself, who has accrued millions of dollars from her husband's trades through, of course, insider trading. She now apparently has a better trade portfolio than Warren Buffett. Boy, that doesn't sound suspicious at all. Oh, and then we got old Bushy boy. President Bush admits that the Iraq War had nothing to do with WMDs, had nothing to do with 9/11. So this man sent tens of thousands of American soldiers to invade another sovereign country, to kill another world leader. He sent thousands of our soldiers to their deaths, and then lied about why he was doing it. No one bats an eye at that. Oh yeah, he literally admits right here. I want to read to you this transcript. So this reporter asked him a question. This was back in can I get a date here? This was back in 2006. Okay? This reporter asked him a question. A lot of the consequences you mentioned for pulling out seem like maybe they never would have been there if we hadn't gone in. How do you square all of that? President George W. Bush responds, I square it because imagine a world in which you had Saddam Hussein, who had the capacity to make weapons of mass destruction, who was paying suiciders to kill innocent life, who had relations with Zarqawi. Imagine what the world would be like with him in power. The idea is to try to help change the Middle East. Now look, part of the reason we went into Iraq was the main reason we went into Iraq at the time was we thought he had weapons of mass destruction. It turns out he didn't, but he had the capacity to make weapons of mass destruction. Yeah. So he lied. Because at the beginning of this war, before the war started, the reason why they sent in the soldiers, the reason why they sent in the military to invade Iraq was because they were 100% sure he had weapons of mass destruction. And now he wants to change it and say that, we were just fairly certain that he had, we just believed that he had weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, he lied. Oh, and then we got the old Biden administration. I apologize. I'm going to have to go ahead and fix it. Okay, that is unmuted there. Okay. Then we got the old Biden administration here. Hunter Biden finally admits the infamous laptop is his as he pleads for a criminal probe. Yeah, you guys remember the laptop that had all of the pictures of him doing adult activities with very young girls, as well as smoking very large amounts of crack cocaine. He finally admitted that laptop was his. Nothing has been done about it. Why is he not in prison? That's a fantastic question, isn't it? Oh, and then we got Mr. Biden Sr. here admitting on video to doing an illegal quid pro quo in Ukraine where he said, you are going to fire this prosecutor that is investigating the company that my son is on the board of, or you're not getting $1 billion. Let's watch.
No, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? It is absolutely incredible. The insane amount of crimes that these so-called lovers of justice will tolerate if it's one of their people, if it's one of the people that they love, if it's the people that are on their side, if it's the people that support their agenda and the things that they want to push. But of course, if it's Donald Trump, lock him up. Lock him up. We got to lock him up. Oh, he committed a misdemeanor. We got to lock him up. Obama literally murdered a guy. He murdered a 16-year-old American citizen. No one even bats an eye. Why is he not in prison? Why are people not shouting for him to be in jail? Why? It's political. It's always been political. They hate Donald Trump. They hate him so much because they threw off their agenda. You see, the political establishment that is the uniparty, the Democrats, as well as the Republicans who pretend to be Republicans but are actually Democrats, which used to be most of the Republican Party. It's now starting to change because the MAGA movement has made such strides and has begun to turn the Republican Party into something far better than what it was. So now we're starting to get actually two separate parties rather than just two parties that pretend to be against each other and actually just want to push the exact same things. They had a plan with Hillary Clinton. It was Hillary Clinton's turn. And then she lost to Donald Trump because the people were fed up. The people were fed up with the establishment. The people were fed up with the uniparty. And they voted in Donald Trump. And they said, we can never allow this to happen again. So they went on a media tirade. Every single day, they talked about nothing but Trump. CNN, MSNBC. If you turn on those two media organizations, media programs, it was Donald Trump all day. Nothing but Donald Trump all day. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nothing but Donald Trump. Because they hate him. They hate that their agenda had to be put on hold. And then, of course, you got the changing of laws in the middle of COVID just so that they could win the election with Joe Biden. They implemented a lot more mail-in ballot laws and things like that. The things that were actually illegal in states like the state of Pennsylvania, but the politicians there decided, that Constitution thing, the state Constitution that says we can't do that. Yeah, we're just going to throw that out and do our own thing. Yeah, because, the highest law in this entire state apparently doesn't matter, But yeah, they hated him so much. They currently hate him so much that we've gotten to this point where they are trying to arrest a former president of the United States. Now, if listen, I'm gonna come outright and say this: if Donald Trump committed heinous crimes, I want justice to be served. Okay, but at the same time, if you're gonna allow Barack Obama to go free after he murdered a 16-year-old American citizen without charge or trial in a drone strike, if you're gonna allow that to go free, you're really going to sit here and charge a guy over intent to defraud over a misdemeanor? Because really, the only thing they have on him right now is this misdemeanor crime. Which, Donald Trump doesn't care about that. Nobody cares about that. Ultimately, the left wants to put him in prison. Now, I think the charges are not going to stand. I don't think that this is going to put him in prison. I don't even think that he'll get charged with a felony, honestly. I think the felony charges are going to get dropped. But yeah, ultimately, I believe that this is probably going to fail, that this whole arrest thing is probably going to fail. It'll be a good image. They'll get some good pictures of it to put on the front page of the New York Times and whatnot. But ultimately, this is going to fail. And when it does, it will probably just about make sure that he does win the next election. Because, listen, people can see right through this. Like these politicians and these media companies, they think we're idiots. They think that you're an idiot. They think that you can't see right through this. They allowed Barack Obama to murder a 16-year-old child. They allowed Nancy Pelosi to get away with her insider trading. They allowed President Bush back in 2006 to get away with lying to the American people and sending thousands of U.S. soldiers to their death for bullcrap reasons. They allow Joe Biden to do an illegal quid pro quo in Ukraine. But Donald Trump has an election violation and they want to throw him in prison? There's obviously a double standard here, and it's very plain for everyone to see. So I'm going to go ahead and come out and say this. Guys, you prosecutors, you people on the left, you people in government that really want to put this guy in prison, you'd better come with a really good case. And you better put him in prison. That's all I'm going to say. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, this will ensure that he wins the next presidential election. Because people can see right through this. People on the left might not be able to see it, but people on the right and people in the center can see right through this. You don't get to let one president murder a child and get away with it and then put another president in prison for an election violation. People see right through that crap. So I'm going to say it. You better put him in prison, because if you don't, you're done. You will ensure that he wins the next election. All right, that's going to be the show for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.